Hey there. So today I wanted to touch on a little bit different of a topic, kind of like the meditation series I'm doing. I also wanted to do one around other goals I have in my life, and I will be creating another business video next. But I really think that in building a business, it is reflective of everything else you're doing in your life. So I want my channel to really just be a place where I'm showing all aspects of my life, how I'm trying to improve them, and really how they affect business growth and just creating a lifestyle that I want, because building a business isn't just about getting money. It's also about creating a life you like. So today I'm going to be addressing exercise and some goals I have around it and some fears I have around it, and just showing you guys like the really raw and real and vulnerable side of being a human and just being honest on this journey and taking you along with me as I achieve the goals, as I don't achieve the goals, and just being really transparent about where I'm at so that anyone else who may be struggling or anyone else who is on this journey has someone else to look at and feel encouraged by. So, basically, a small overview is this month, I'm really working towards upping my step count. So, walking is kind of my primary exercise right now, and I'll get into the presentation a little and let you guys know why I chose this. But the big goal eventually for me is to be able to do 10,000 steps a day, which I know doesn't seem like a lot. It's kind of not the average, but what most fitness trackers aim for. But I haven't really achieved that goal lately. So I want to build up to walking 10 steps a day. But my goal for this month is 200,000 steps. So that would be the highest count I would have so far this year on my Fitbit. My highest count to date on the Fitbit is 199,000 steps in a month. So if I hit 200,000 this month, that would be the absolute max I've done. And then in the future, like I said, I want to hit that 10,000 steps per day goal, which I have hit a couple times, but not necessarily like a month straight. And I just want to set small goals each month to kind of keep striving in the right direction versus trying to do it all at one time. So I'll take you along with me, and here is kind of why I've chosen to do this and what my journey has been so far. So I'm kind of right now getting back into exercise after dealing with potential injuries and chronic pain. So I actually grew up as an athlete. I was a roller skater for 14 years. So exercise was a huge part of my life. When I skated during the school year, I would skate probably 4 to 5 days a week. And then during the summer, it would be more like 5 to 6 days a week. At some points, like I think I did 7, but that wasn't very common. But anyway, every day I was pretty active. My skating training sessions would last anywhere from like 2 to 3 hours. And then during the summer, it would be more like maybe 5 to 6 hours. So again, grew up really active, had no problem exercising. I really thrived on it. I hated taking days off of it. It was just really kind of like I connected with myself, and it was such a refuge from everything else in my life. If I was stressed, if there were family problems going on, if there was anything emotional going on, like exercise was kind of what I used to cope with it. So after I was done skating when I was 21, I still wanted to keep up a really active lifestyle because, like I said, exercise was something that I really used to keep everything else in check. And it was just this kind of release to me. So I kind of got into a routine. So I would like go for walks with my friends or hikes or something just around different places locally. And then when I was by myself, like I had moved, I had this routine where when I got home from work or before work, just depending on my schedule, because I would work, I was like a shift worker. So it could be early mornings, it could be late nights. So anyway, each day I kind of had a goal for myself of every other day I would do yoga just on an app on my phone, and then every other day I would go running with another app on my phone that would tell me like jog and then walk, and then yeah, so I was doing that pretty continuously, and these weren't new things for me. Like I had done yoga kind of on and off, and it was a little bit similar to skating, just aerobic exercise. And then in terms of running, when I did skate, we would run a little bit, nothing too heavy, probably just like a mile. And I wasn't necessarily doing more than that when I wasn't skating. I was kind of like walking and jogging. But eventually, things started to get a little bit more difficult for me. So 6 years ago, I started experiencing for the first time chest pain when I was running or really heavily exercising. And so that kind of took me aback, and I wasn't too concerned about it because I thought that, hey, maybe I'm just trying to exercise too hard and it was hot outside. And so I just kind of like ignored it a little bit, like any 21, 22, 23-year-old would do, and then just kind of lessened my exercise routine. So instead of running, I would walk if that started happening, or just not push myself too hard. And then I started experiencing that walking, just standing, doing work. And work was always something I would work like 8 hours and then skate for like 3 to 4 hours. So it was really weird to me that even doing something as simple as like standing at a cash register would trigger this to happen. So I stopped exercising. And then a couple months later, I actually started to get pain in the front of my shins. Again, not doing anything hardcore, just doing work and just standing. And so, anyway, it got to the point where standing more than like 2 to 3 hours at a time, I would have to sit down. My legs would be in pain for days. Anyway, needless to say, it was really, really crazy. And so I stopped exercising altogether and just looking for answers for, what was happening, what I could do. I thought this would be a really quick fix. I thought I'd be able to identify what was happening, fix it, and just get back to my really active lifestyle. And that did not happen. So between 6 years ago and now, I have engaged in some exercise. I got really into yoga routine for a while, and then the chest pain kind of triggered and I stopped. And then I have kind of walked on and off, but never really trying to like push myself. And so right now I'm really focused on building tolerance to exercise again through kind of short sessions. And I think the best advice I was given is exercise to a point where it doesn't hurt. So then you could do it the next day and then gradually increase that. Because I still actually do deal with these symptoms. I don't have a root cause for it, and I don't have any ways that I cope with it other than just kind of resting and relaxing and like taking hot baths and stuff. So this is kind of like what I'm working through in terms of getting back into exercise, and why I have like pretty small goals in comparison to what I would have had, 6 years ago. But I figure that if I start small and kind of just keep increasing, that at some point I'll be able to be hopefully moderately active again. So I really wanted to share this, and it's not something that I thought I would share on YouTube, but I was really called to be able to share this story because I think that my situation isn't necessarily unique. I think for one reason or another, people do have a hard time with exercise, and I never thought this would be me, especially growing up as an athlete. But being able to talk about it and just find community in it, I think is really important. And if I could be that person, I wish that when I was going through this, that I found someone on YouTube that I could look up to and be like, okay, it's not going to be this way forever. And like, here's how they got through it. So I think that the more I could just talk about it and share my journey and show that things can improve, I think this will give motivation to other people and just encourage everyone to take it one step at a time, even if you don't have a reason why exercise maybe is harder for you, but you just haven't exercised in a while and you want to get back into it. So I'll share kind of what's working, what's not working, if I hit my goals, if I don't, and just what the journey is. And I hope to look back on this in a few years and be like, wow, I'm really proud of myself for starting and for documenting the journey and just seeing how far I can get. So I, again, find a lot of mental well-being in exercise. I think that it's really good for dealing with stress. My goal is just to have a really full life where my body can tolerate regular exercise. Like, I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to, like, go do things with people. So really excited for that aspect of it. And like I said, just balancing, I'm not trying to like be like, okay, I've got to exercise, no matter how I feel, no matter what's happening. But I also don't want to not push myself and kind of be in this state that I've been in over the last few years where it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that because of this, or like get really scared to do things. Because like I said, I want to be able to do different things and really trying to find the balance between like, obviously there's going to be days where it's going to be really hard and maybe I just do like a lesser routine, or knowing that there are days I'm going to be skipping. So yeah, I really just want to document the process and see how this goes. So like I said, really just slowly building it up where I see myself hopefully in the next year or two is being able to walk 10,000 steps a day, as well as do like a yoga routine so that it combines a couple different exercise modalities, and then just wanting to be able to do kind of recreational things like maybe skiing or swimming, or just everyday activities, going for like a hike or something like that. And I think that the more I increase my tolerance, the more I'll be able to do. And again, kind of going back to finding the balance of maybe some days I push through it, maybe some days I take a break. And of course, like if you're at this point in the video and you're like, why doesn't she just get help for this? Like, I think that's a whole separate video I could do, but I am still actively looking for the root cause of this. I'm still actively in communication with people. So obviously, if any severe symptom or my symptoms were to get worse or happen in a different way, like I would reach out for support. But at this point, I don't necessarily see a reason not to exercise. There's no big red flag that says exercise is going to make things worse or deteriorate my body in somehow or put me in danger. So I think just acknowledging that and recognizing that I can definitely see the benefits when I exercise, and I don't know, or there's no reason to think that it's hurting me by exercising other than experiencing the physical pain. I'll skip this because, again, going back to the 200,000 steps this month, that'd be an average of around 6,452 steps per day. And I feel like that's pretty reasonable. I have spent the last probably year to year and a half going for walks a lot of days and increasing to get to this point. So for a while, 3,000 steps was the goal, then 5,000 steps was the goal. So now I'm here, and this is kind of where I'm going to start documenting online, and we'll just see how far we could get. And then, yeah, just wanting to build towards a full and active life. I think the thing that I haven't talked about is just my fear around exercise, because obviously before I loved it, and now I kind of have this preconception in my brain that like, oh, there's been times where I've exercised and then had to be in bed for the next few days because the chest pain is so bad or the shin pain is so bad that I don't want to do anything. So being able to also work on my mindset and be able to associate exercise with something good again, versus like it's this punishment or I'm going to feel terrible afterwards. I'm really trying to come into each day with like a blank slate of, yeah, maybe yesterday the exercise wasn't good, but that doesn't mean that today can't be a good day of it. So I'll document my process around that and just like how I'm feeling around it, what thoughts come up, what thoughts help. Some of the things that I have been doing while walking to kind of distract that in my brain is either listening to an audiobook, listening to like encouraging music, listening to some sort of talk that's really inspiring to me, or a podcast. So yeah, those are kind of the mental tools I'm using right now, and also just trying not to live in the past of like, oh, this has happened before, so it could happen again. Like, yeah, of course it could, but also just trying to think about like that this is helping me in the long term. All right, so like I said, I'll be tracking my progress, and I hope to do some video updates on here. Just take it one step at a time, literally, and be able to support myself in achieving this goal. And hopefully this will inspire you to create your own version of this, whether you're way beyond where I am and have different kind of mental or physical blocks towards something, or if you are at a point where you just want to walk 1,000 steps a day. This is just the level that I'm at right now, and I'm just trying to be really accepting towards myself and my body. As before, I was really ashamed of this, like especially being an athlete. It was never something I wanted to address or talk about or even just acknowledge. Like I wanted to be like, oh, well, everyone else is doing this, so I'm just going to push myself through it and do this exercise and then pay for it for the next week. Like I want it to be something that I take small steps, I'm honest in the journey, and I can see improvement over time, and also work on my mindset around it and just get to the point where exercise is fun again. And I think by doing this, I'll be able to kind of surpass even what my goals are right now if I keep a step on the journey. So thank you so much for watching. If you're also kind of dealing with getting back into exercise or have fears around it or are overcoming like an injury or chronic pain from exercise, please let me know, because I definitely want to make more videos like this and share helpful resources, share helpful tips, or try out your tips, because I'm really curious to see like what your thoughts are around this, and if you've made it through this journey, kind of like what you tried and what worked, and I'm happy to try those out as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.